Good morning! Hello you guys, it's Charlotte. Welcome back to the vlog. Today we are doing a Q&A and drive with me. I haven't done a drive with me in such a long time. I think I haven't done one since the summer, so I'm really excited to just have a fun, casual little video. I also haven't done a Q&A on my channel in quite a long time. I did one on my Instagram not too long ago, but I know not everyone over here follows me over on Instagram, even though you totally should. So I know everyone didn't get to see that Q&A, so I wanted to do one over here too. I'm really excited. This is just gonna be a fun, casual little like catch up, letting you guys know what's going on in my life and what my plans are for 2024 and all that good stuff. So I had you guys ask me a bunch of questions over on my Instagram. I put them into a spreadsheet because I'm just like that, and I'm gonna be answering them while we run some errands. Today's the day after Thanksgiving, so Kerrigan and her sister Madison and I are all going Black Friday shopping. So that's what we're gonna do. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below to join the family, and without any further ado, let's get going on this drive with me. It's also like 10 a.m. right now, and that's when Maine gets like all of its sunlight during the winter and the fall, so the lighting just might be a little bit bad. Blanket warning to everyone. Also, I took down my hanging plant and my air freshener that hangs on my rear view mirror for this video. I love having them up, but a lot of you guys, not a lot, but some of you have commented saying like that it bothers you watching it swing back and forth while I'm filming in the car, so I took it down temporarily so you guys wouldn't have to deal with that. But let's go ahead and get started on this Q&A. I tried to organize the questions in a way that they flow together, like each question kind of builds on each other and goes into the next question. So hopefully this will just be like chatting on a FaceTime call with a friend. So a lot of people were asking, do I feel content in Maine, or am I going to be moving to a different state or a different city? Some of you guys might not know this if you found my channel after I got my big girl job, but I never wanted to be in Maine. I never wanted to live here full time. I wasn't even planning on applying for jobs in Maine because I knew that I just didn't, this is not where I wanted to be. For me, I know this is gonna sound so dramatic, but for me, when I finally decided that I felt like I needed a job more than I wanted to be in North Carolina, and I decided that I was going to start applying for jobs in Maine and I was going to be living in Maine for a while, that honestly felt like a huge failure on my part. And again, I know people are gonna be like, Charlotte, what are you talking about? That's not a failure. Like, and I know that up here, but in the moment, I truly felt like I'd failed. I was like, I set this goal to like move after college and go out into the world, and like, here I am not doing that. That was like a horrible feeling. I hated that feeling. That was definitely a hard one to like overcome and realize like, just because you can't have something that you want right now doesn't mean that you can't have it later on down the road. So deciding to live in Maine for me was a really big decision, and if I'm being 100% honest, it was not a positive decision for me. It didn't feel like, okay, this is the next step in my life. Like, yeah, I'm gonna live in Maine for a while. It felt like, are you serious? Like, I'm gonna live in Maine for a while? So with all of that being said, I do think I'm more content living in Maine than I was when I first took my job and I first decided that I was gonna be living here. However, I don't love it here. Like, I have never felt like this is really my place. I've never really felt like this is where I'm meant to be, especially right now in my life when I feel like the world is out there and I have to go out there and explore it. Otherwise, like, it's just gonna slip through my fingers. There's not really like a good, I don't know. I don't want to say like, no, I'm not content in Maine, but I'll put it this way. I am not envisioning myself being here for the long term. That's how I'll put it. And don't get me wrong, like, Maine is such a nice place. It's a lovely place. My whole family lives here. A lot of my friends live here, or want to live here full time, like after college or after they finish doing grad school or wherever else they are. But I'm just not one of those people. I've never wanted to settle down here immediately. I don't want to say like I'm not content, but I have other places on my radar for sure. Which kind of leads me into the next question. A lot of people were wondering in general, like, what are my plans for 2024? And I am not going to tell you guys any specifics just because the last time that I did that, I don't really feel like it went the way that I wanted it to, and it was really hard for me to like admit like, oh, the plan is changing, not for any real reason other than like I felt like I had let myself down, and because I'd already told you guys my plan and then I had to go back and say the plan's not happening, I also felt like I was letting you guys down, which again, I know is totally irrational and I know like isn't the truth, but in that moment, that's how it felt. So I don't want to like spew all of my hypothetical plans here and then a month from now be like, oh, just kidding, the plan is changing, you know? So I have a lot of plans for 2024. One of them is that I'm going to be moving, which is so exciting. I'm not gonna tell you guys where, but I'm going to be moving in 2024, and I have a bunch of new projects for 2024. I have at least 2 like big projects for 2024 that I'm really excited to work on, that I really hope you guys like when I announce them. So stay tuned. 2024 is gonna be a really big year for me, I'm hoping, and I'm gonna make it that way. Like, I'm trying really hard to kind of take charge of my life and not feel like a bystander in my own life. So I'm taking charge of 2024. It's gonna be a great year, I'm calling it. And yes, I have plans, but you guys will have to wait and see what they are. I got a lot of questions too about my job. A lot of people asking like, do you like your job? How's your job? And I do think it's a little bit hard to talk about my job on here just because I use this channel in like my applications to jobs. So I don't ever want to say too much about my job, like positive or negative. What I will say though is I really love the work that I'm doing. You guys know I went to school for communications and marketing. That's what I love doing. That's what I'm passionate about. And that's what I'm doing in this job. So that part I really love. I feel like it's a really positive thing. I'm really lucky. I feel like that I got a job in this market right out of school. Like a lot of people that studied the same thing that I did and got their degree in the same thing that I didn't end up with jobs as quickly as I did. So I feel really lucky that I got the job that I did. And like I said, I'm really enjoying the work that I'm doing. So it's really a win-win. But also with that being said, whoa, I'm kind of prefacing this next question with everything that I just said. Like, I feel really fortunate to have the job that I have. I feel really fortunate that I'm doing work that I really enjoy. Okay, that's my preface. But I got a couple of people asking like, how am I doing mentally? Like, how's my mental health? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it is poor. It's not good. I've been feeling really, really burnt out recently. Like, I don't even have the energy to do basic things anymore. I just feel like I come home from work and I just like sit and scroll on my phone and I don't even do anything. I don't like do my hobbies that I enjoy anymore. I'm just like exhausted all the time. And I've been struggling too with YouTube specifically because I film my life. Like, that's my job, is to film my life and capture the exciting moments and the mundane moments in my life. And right now, and I'm not trying to make this sound like sob story, like sad, feel bad for me, like absolutely not. Like, I'm not saying this for pity, I'm just stating how it's going. I am bored in my own life right now. I just don't feel inspired. I don't feel like I'm where I want to be or where I'm supposed to be. And that's really taking a toll on my mental health. It's taking a toll on my confidence. It's taking a toll on my self-esteem. And I feel like it's taking a toll on my content. Like, I haven't been as excited to film content recently. Not because I'm burnt out with YouTube, but because I'm burnt out with the life that I'm supposed to be filming, if that makes sense. It's not that I'm burnt out like I can't make any more videos, I'm just done making videos. Like, it almost doesn't even have anything to do with actually making videos. It's more just like, I feel like my life is just not interesting at all anymore. So I hope you guys don't feel that way. I hope you guys are still interested in my life. I know we're going through a transitional time right now, and I'm also trying to keep that in mind. Like, nothing is permanent. This is all temporary. And like, I'm in charge of my life and I can change it if I want to. So that's just like what I'm trying to keep in mind. But okay, that being said, I also got a couple of questions, people asking for tips on how to deal with burnout and how I get over burnout. So I feel like it's poetic that I'm going through it right now too. So first and foremost, I just want to say, if you're feeling burnt out, me too, same. You're not alone. Like, we're going through this together. I totally get you. I totally see where you're coming from. Same. My biggest tip, I think, would be to allow yourself that time to rest. Like, don't try and get out of burnout as quickly as possible, because I feel like you're just gonna end up making it worse. If you try to just power through it, I feel like you're gonna keep doing all the same things that made you feel burnt out in the first place. So wherever you can, and I know this is really difficult because believe me, like I said, I'm going through the same exact thing. Try your best to like rest and recuperate and do the things that make you happy, or do the things that make you feel rested if you're feeling really tired. For me, I really enjoy reading. Like, reading is one of my favorite hobbies. So I've been trying to, like, little by little read more instead of being on my phone, because I think when I'm burnt out and I go on social media and I see all of these people doing all these amazing things, it's really hard to not compare yourself to those people. And comparing yourself to other people on social media is bad for you on a good day. So when you're already burnt out and your self-esteem is already really low, comparing yourself to people online is like the worst thing you can do. But at the same time, when you're exhausted, like the only thing you feel like you can do is scroll through social media. So for me, what I found is if I can kind of identify those times where I'm sitting on the couch, I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally doom scrolling right now. If I can put my phone away and read like a chapter of a novel, that makes me feel better. That helps me feel rested. And it helps me remember, like, okay, even though I'm going through kind of a rough patch right now and I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling exhausted, I'm feeling burnt out, I can still do little things that I enjoy doing and then build on those good habits and those little things that you enjoy, and that might make you feel better in the end. So those are some of my biggest tips. That's what I do when I'm feeling particularly burnt out or stressed out or just not like feeling it. I hope that helps you. I hope you feel better soon. I mentioned reading though. I wanted to talk about this. Somebody commented and asked what my favorite book is. I actually just finished this book last night. It's called The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, I think is her name. Y'all, this book was so good. I laughed and I cried multiple times. I finished it in a couple of days. I think it was like 5 days, but last night I read more than half of it, the like second half, in one sitting. That is my new like all-time favorite book. It was so good. I couldn't recommend it enough. Like, if you take one book recommendation from me this year, read The 7-Year Slip. It's amazing. One of the best books I've ever read in my life. So that was a little sidebar, but another question I got kind of on the same theme of like tips. Some people were wondering, what are my tips for feeling productive during the day and like getting everything done on your to-do list? And I have two. Number one is try not to make your to-do list too long. Even if you have a lot of things on your to-do list, maybe just write like the top 5 things or the top 7 things that you need to get done, because sometimes when you make a to-do list and you write down, oh my God, the sun, every single thing that you need to do, you might actually just be stressing yourself out more, and that's just not good, and then you won't feel productive at all because you'll just be stressed. So number one tip is try not to put too many things on your to-do list if you can avoid it. Like, maybe the smaller things that you know you're gonna do anyway, don't even put them on your list, because then you won't get overwhelmed when you look at the list. My second tip is to put things that you have already done on your to-do list so that you can check them off right from the get-go. I do this all the time, and you might be laughing, but for me, it is so helpful to make a to-do list and immediately have things that I can check off and be like, I've already done that. So if I get up in the morning and I make my bed and then I make my to-do list, I will put make my bed on my to-do list and then check it off immediately. Because for me, it's way more encouraging to look at a to-do list that already has things checked off and be like, oh, I've already started getting some of the stuff done that I need to do. It's not as daunting. Whereas if you look at this to-do list that's just empty check boxes and it's just things I need to do and things I need to get done and nothing is done yet, that can be a really overwhelming feeling, and something for me that just I don't like. It really stresses me out. So if I can put a couple of things on my to-do list that I know I can check off immediately, that's really helpful for me. And that's something that I do every time I make a to-do list. That's how I, like, one of my productivity tips. That's how I got through college, honestly. Another question I got asked was how to balance college and life. You guys know I used to be a college lifestyle vlogger before I graduated. I did a lot of college content. It was basically all college content. So I'm familiar with trying to balance college and the rest of your life, and it can be really challenging. Sort of the same advice applies. Just don't try and do everything. If you try to do everything, and worse, if you expect yourself to do everything, you are gonna burn out so fast. You're gonna hate your life. You're not gonna enjoy anything that you used to enjoy because you're just gonna be so stressed out about trying to do it all. And I wish there was some like magic advice that I could give you that's like, here's how to handle being in college and trying to live your life at the same time. But it's really something that each person kind of needs to figure out what works for them. I will say though, something that worked really, really well for me was I made college my life. Like, I didn't try and think of college and my life as separate things, if that makes sense. I just thought of college as my life. I was like, this is what I'm doing, this is what's important to me right now, and I just fully embraced it. I was like, my life, my job right now is to be a college student. My life is about going to class and making friends and going to parties and studying hard. Like, that is my whole life right now. So that's something that I did that worked really well for me. And I know that's not possible for everybody, but if that is if that's a possibility for you, like, give it a try, because it honestly worked super well for me. And good luck, give yourself breaks, talk to your friends. It's all the same kind of advice, like journal, do a fake phone call, like voice memo recording to yourself to just talk through whatever you need to talk through. And also, like, I know this is impossible, and I am not trying to be like, don't care about grades, because, like, do care about your grades. But also know in the back of your mind that grades are not everything, okay? Like, they're really not. I applied to so many jobs and I got a 3.96 out of 4.0 GPA. Like, I was a straight A student. No one cares now that I'm applying for jobs. Literally nobody cares. Now that I have a big girl job, my education isn't even the top thing on my resume anymore. So, like, do a good job, care about your grades, but do not make yourself miserable, because you will be miserable. I believe in you. You can totally do it. I have so many videos on my channel of me being stressed out about college, so if you need someone, if it's helpful for you when you're stressed to, like, see somebody else being stressed about the same thing and, like, know that you're not alone, go back to my channel. I have an entire playlist that has all of my college videos in one place, and you can see you're not the only person going through what you're going through. I totally get it. I was a stressed out college student once too. You're doing great, bestie. I believe in you. Okay, next question. I got a couple of people asking if I'm going to do Vlogmas this year. This is a really tough question for me to answer, because Vlogmas is one of those things that, in theory, I'm always like, oh my god, yeah, Vlogmas, like, Vlogmas is awesome. And then every year that I've done it, I've been like, oh my god, Vlogmas. But then on the other hand, the idea of not doing Vlogmas makes me really sad, because I love the idea of doing it. So this year, I'm gonna do a modified Vlogmas. I'm not gonna be doing daily vlogs every day until Christmas. That's just way too much. I'm already stressed about that, and I know trying to do that, I would burn out, like, on day 2. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put that pressure on myself. But I think what I am going to do is the 12 days of Vlogmas for, like, the last 12 days. It'll be like December 12th through December 24th. So I'll do like 12 daily vlogs, and it'll be like a mini Vlogmas. So that's kind of what I have in mind for right now. That's kind of my plan. It could change, but that's kind of what I'm planning on doing right now. Anyway, you guys, I feel like I've been talking for a really, really long time. So that is gonna do it for this drive with me and this Q&A. Thank you guys for asking me such great questions and letting me share my life with you guys. I think it's so cool that I get to have this job and share my entire life with you guys. So thank you for asking questions. Thank you for taking an interest in what's going on in my life. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I have a lot of exciting plans for the upcoming new year that I can't wait to share with you guys as they happen, when they happen. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for those updates as they come. Hopefully they'll be coming sooner rather than later, but I will let you all know. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it for me down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But that is gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.